What's up, everyone? Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and I'm about to speak with legendary kickboxer Ray Sefo, also Mr. World Series of Fighting, right ahead of World Series of Fighting 32, which is about to take place from Everett, Washington. So we're going to give him a call and see what the current state of affairs is for his upcoming World Series of Fighting event, and maybe figure out if he might get back into the cage anytime soon and have a bout of his own. So let's give him a call and see what he's up to.
Hello?
Mr. Ray Sefo.
Hello?
How you doing, sir? Eddie Mercado here with Bloody Elbow.
Oh, hey, Eddie. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for taking out the time to speak with me. First off, I got to say I'm a huge fan. You know, I've seen so many of your fights, and I've followed your career, and it's truly, truly an honor to be speaking with you. So thank you for taking out the time.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I mean, you're a legend. 6-time Muay Thai world champion, 8-time K1 Grand Prix finalist. I mean, you've done it all. Not to mention, your fight with Mark Hunt was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my entire life. So I got to thank you for that as well.
Yeah, that was a battle that Mark and I will remember for a very long time.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, you're still training at Extreme Couture, and you've also kind of hinted at you wanted one more fight. So, when can we see Ray Sefo back inside of a ring competing?
Well, I mean, there's been a couple of offers to fight overseas, kickboxing. And it's just, right now, obviously, the fight's got to make sense and to allow me to take time out to actually get ready for a match. You know what I mean? So I'm really not sure. And I've pretty much kind of given myself the time. If nothing happens, then I'd most likely just hang up the gloves. But I'm in the gym every day. I spar all the young guns at the gym and all the young guns that visit our gym from time to time. So, and I still hold my own and do well. So, as long as I can do it and be, what's the word? Effective, if you will, then I'll continue doing it.
Okay. All right. Now, would it be kickboxing or MMA or whatever is more appealing?
Yeah, whatever comes my way that makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Now, recently we saw you hitting pads with you were holding pads for Mark Hunt ahead of his last fight, and he's been a little outspoken as of late, talking about starting a fighters union. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that MMA as a whole needs a fighters union for the fighters to kind of band together?
I think, anything like that, it can either work good or bad. You know what I mean? So I don't have too much of an opinion on that matter because I never, even when I was fighting for K1, there was talk about that kind of thing, but it never happened. And so I don't know if it would ever happen. You know what I mean? People can say whatever they want to say, but going ahead with it is something else. And so, it definitely ain't going to hurt. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, what are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar? Now, it's been reported that he's failed a couple drug tests. He still fought. What is your whole thoughts on the whole PED thing? And what does the World Series of Fighting do to kind of thwart the use of banned substances?
Well, I mean, obviously, it didn't surprise me when the result of Brock Lesnar's test came back.
Sure,
that didn't surprise me at all, because when Jones' test came back positive, somebody within the team had asked, it's funny how Brock is positive. And I said, well, what's the benefit? It'll most likely be positive after the fight. And so, I find it kind of funny, because that's exactly what I did, and that's what happened. So, in terms of, we do also drug tests through the commission and what have you, we keep an eye on that kind of thing as well.
Okay. Now, let's kind of recap a little bit. Now, the World Series of Fighting, they put on an 8-man tournament. Now, modern day MMA doesn't really see these kind of tournaments anymore, so it's very unique for the World Series of Fighting. Now, can you kind of go through your thoughts on kind of how the tournament played out and whether or not you would do something like that again?
I thought it played out really well. I thought it was very successful. It's exactly what I've experienced in my career in terms of kickboxing, which is no different to MMA in terms of running a tournament like that. So I thought it turned out really well. I had a lot of very positive feedback from all the fans, and that they want to see it again. And then the other part of your question, 100%, that I will be doing a few more tournaments in the coming year.
Okay, awesome. I look forward to them. They always add excitement, that's for sure. Now, so recently you had the World Series of Fighting 31, which the headline was an epic heavyweight bout between Blagoy Ivanov and Josh Copeland. It went all 5 rounds. I mean, toe-to-toe the entire time. Highly exciting. What are kind of your thoughts on that event as a whole and how it went down? Because it was a pretty exciting night.
Right. I was, again, first and foremost, I'm a huge fan of the sport, whether it's MMA, boxing, kickboxing. And when you get heavyweights like those two, Blagoy Ivanov, who's the champion, and the challenger, Josh Copeland, put it all on the line and show the fans, or give the fans what they want to see, it's always exciting. And so I thought the whole show was a successful one. I thought everybody, all my fighters turned up and did what they needed to do to give the fans what they wanted to see. So all in all, I was very happy with the whole show.
Okay. Now, that specific show, it went head-to-head with a Bellator event. Now,
correct.
What was the reasoning behind that, and what kind of results did you gain from that?
Well, there's no reason behind it. I mean, at the end of the day, we get our dates from NBC. We talk about it, and by the time those dates are set and set in stone, we don't know what dates that's going on elsewhere. You know what I mean? Whether it's Bellator, UFC, or any other fight league. And so, listen, there are times where, NBC is great, where they can shuffle the certain dates at certain times, but then there are times where that can't be done. So, there was no reasoning behind it other than the fact that was TV time, and it just happens that it ran in together with the Bellator show. But when the UFC and Bellator have 40 to 50 shows a year,
right?
There's no way you can prevent that from happening. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, at World Series of Fighting 31, we saw Jason High in an epic comeback victory over Mike Ricci. Now, does that put Jason High in the #1 contender spot to face Justin Gaethje? I know he called him out after the event.
That is correct. I mean, Jason High fought a very good fight, but I was very impressed with Mike Ritchie. I think that fight, that was the best Mike Ritchie that I've seen. And, you know, fortunately for Jason, he was able to land a big shot, which turned the tide of the fight. But yeah, no, I mean, Jason High, I've seen Jason High fight many a times, and he's he's quite the athlete and quite the fighter. So, what he did didn't surprise me because I'd always expect him to be, to be as good as anybody in that division. And Jason High, Mike Ritchie, on the other hand, was a big surprise for me because I've seen Mike Ritchie fight, but I hadn't seen the best of him. And I think in that fight, Jason High fought the best out of Mike Ritchie. And yes, the other part of your question is that Jason High is definitely the #1 contender. Right now, Gazulakov, Ozzy Gazulakov is the #1 contender and getting ready for the title, for a title fight against Justin Gaethje. So, right after whoever wins that fight, and that depends if Ozzy wins that fight, then the champion has an automatic rematch. Where if the champion wins that fight, then Jason High is next in line for a title fight.
Okay, now is the date set for Gaethje versus Ozzy?
Say that again.
Has the date been set already and the venue been picked for Justin Gaethje against Ozzy?
That is correct. That's the date is September 24th.
Okay, September 24th. Awesome. Okay, cool. Now, upcoming World Series of Fighting 32 from Everett, Washington, it's going to have 2 titles on the line. Now,
right.
Also, there's 3 rematches on this card. I got to ask, there are a lot of rematches inside of the World Series of Fighting. Is that just because of the size of the roster, or is it just more along the lines of the fights are pretty close, so it makes sense to do them again?
No, it's not so much the size of the roster because we have a decent roster. I mean, obviously we don't have 500 guys on the contract, but we do have enough guys. Where the rematches happen, if you think about the main event, Josh Hill has racked up 4 wins to earn the right to fight for the title again, where the champion has pretty much cleaned up whoever's been put in front of him. And so, because in that fight too, that was probably the closest fight that the champion has ever defended the title against somebody. And Josh Hill also hurt the champion in that first round. So, again, both fighters have evolved and have changed a lot in their games. But the champion is the champion for a reason, and Josh Hill is right now #1 contender for a reason. And obviously, Josh Hill wants to come out and win that title, as the same as the champion wanted to, hold on to that belt. Now, that's a tough fight out of the way, but the person right now at this very moment that has the advantage is obviously the champion because they fought before and he beat him before. So now it's up to Josh to see how he's going to adjust or what adjustment he's made to walk away with the title.
Okay, now if Josh Hill wins, does that mean Marlon Moraes gets an instant rematch?
Correct.
Okay, now if Marlon Moraes wins, then what? Because he's killed the division. Does he move up a weight class maybe, or does the World Series bring in new talent for him? Or
well, it's funny enough. We have talked about that. Nothing, that serious, but then we have discussed the possibility of him moving up a division or unifying the 135 and the 145 But those were just kind of casual talk. And I guess that the next serious discussion with the champion is after the outcome of this next fight.
Okay, now that kind of transitions into the co-main event on the evening, which is Lance Palmer and Capital Almeida in a rematch for the 145 title. Now, so again, if Palmer wins, does that mean there's an immediate rematch for Almeida?
Well, I'm not sure with that one right now. And I mean, and again, it just depends on the fight. The reason why Palmer deserves the rematch for this fight is because, in my personal opinion, I didn't think Palmer lost that fight. The judges saw it different, but the fight that I saw, I thought the champion did enough to hold on to his title. And saying that when you're the challenger, you have to take the fight away from the champion. You can't just cruise and then, listen, that doesn't mean that Alexander is less of a fighter. It just means that his output and his effectiveness obviously needs to be greater. And I think he understands that, and he understands that Lance Palmer ain't going to be, the same Lance Palmer that he won the title from. So, I think it's going to be another exciting fight. But, again, those are the reasons why I thought that rematch was justified.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I share the same sentiment. I personally gave it to Palmer. I thought he did enough to retain the title. Now, just hypothetically now, just casual talk. So there's a chance that the winner of Palmer Almeida will face Marlon Moraes if he beats Josh Hill.
No, the winner of those guys will be facing Shaymon Moraes.
Okay, so Shayman's already the #1 contender after beating Palomino at World Series of Fighting 31. Okay, awesome. Now, there's another fight at the World Series of Fighting 32 that's drawing a lot of interest. You have brothers who are going to compete against one another. And I believe this is the first time we've really seen this in a mainstream mixed martial arts competition. Now, like, I need your side of this because I've spoke to both brothers, Ben and Carlos Fodor, and, I want your opinion. How did this fight come to be?
They both called me and said, hey, we want this fight to happen. We want to fight each other. I think Phoenix Jones, Ben Fodor, first brought it to my attention, I want to say a little over a year ago. And obviously, as time has gone on, these two have some legit dislike for each other. Again, it's hard for me to try and understand because they're brothers. But it is what it is. And, I would never be the guy that calls them and say, hey, listen, I like for you guys to fight each other. I mean, they're the ones that reached out to me and said, we want to fight each other and we want to, since that we're coming to Everett, Washington, which is their backyard, they wanted to, do that in front of their family and friends. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, you have a younger brother who is a martial artist as well. Now, would you have ever considered competing against him? I mean, I'm sure you've trained with him, and that's one thing, but would you actually...
No, that would never happen. There was a situation where my younger brother, Ronnie, had won because we were both contracted to K1. He fought he fought in the tournament, K1 New Zealand tournament, which, there was K1 New Zealand, K1 USA, K1 Japan, K1 Brazil, and there was K1 worldwide, and Ronnie, my brother Ronnie won K1 New Zealand, and so he was in the mix to fight in that top spot, and the possibility of us fighting each other was very high because we were both in that tournament. So that situation almost happened, but at the same time, again, like I said, like there was I would have never fought my brother, and he and I talked about it, and he said he was going to let me win, and I said I was going to let him win. And so fortunately, it didn't happen.
Okay. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued, and I'm curious as to how it plays out. And honestly, I hope they're friends at the end of the day. I hope they're able to shake hands after the bout and go on with their lives.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's my thought exactly. Is that I hope that when this is all said and done, that they would walk away and they would shake hands and hug and say, "Hey, listen, you know what? We've done it. We're here. We're brothers. Let's move on and challenge the world." You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, also on the card, you have a couple Canadians. Now, you've been to Canada in the past with the World Series of Fighting. When can we expect you to travel up north again?
There's been some talk, but it probably won't be until 2017.
Okay. Okay. Now, what about David Branch? What's he getting into? What's on his plate for right now? Of course, he is a multi-divisional champion, and that kind of eats up a little bit of each division respectively. So what's next for David Branch?
Well, David Branch is looking to fight again in WSOF 34, I believe, and he will be defending his light heavyweight title then. But that's on the agenda right now for David Branch.
Okay, so he will be defending the light heavyweight title next.
Right.
Okay, awesome. Now, what are the upcoming events? Because I can't exactly see any scheduled upcoming events past World Series of Fighting 32.
We have 33. I mean, we got 32 coming up. We have 33. We have 34. We have 35. And 36 is right up on the schedule right now. So we're 5 shows ahead of schedule, if you will.
Okay, and when are you going to release the venues for those bouts?
Most likely that will be released within the coming week.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, are there any other World Series of Fighting announcements you would like to get out right now?
No. Right now, it's that's pretty much what we have. Obviously, we're focusing on WSOF 32, Marlon Moraes versus Josh Hill, and the co-main, of course, is Alexander Almeida defending his title against Lance Palmer, the former champion. And of course, the rest of the card is an amazing card. It's live on NBC Sports Network. And if you're in Seattle, come along and watch the show.
Awesome. Real quick, when will we see the World Series of Fighting on NBC Network television?
That show is scheduled for December, New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool deal. Any idea who's going to be fighting on that card? Perhaps Ray Sefo?
Yes, there's a few names. We're just looking to nail down the location, and then we would probably, plan that card accordingly.
Okay, awesome. What are your Twitter handles? How can people find you and the World Series of Fighting on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at Sugar Ray Sefo. On my Instagram is again at Sugar Ray Sefo. The World Series of Fighting is at World Series of Fighting, which is also there. Our Instagram World Series of Fighting is at World Series of Fighting as well, and of course there's WSOF.com, and or you can find me on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Mr. Ray Sefo, a true legend of the sport. Thank you so much for taking out the time, and I look forward to seeing World Series of Fighting 32 and the following events. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
So there you have it. The legend that is Ray Sefo. World Series of Fighting 32 from Everett, Washington on July 30th, 2016. Go check it out if you're in the area. If not, you can catch it live on NBC Sports Network. I think at 10:30, maybe 10 o'clock, somewhere in there. I'm not sure. We'll put a preview out for it. Continue to read Bloody Elbow for all your event coverage, news, updates, results, and more. Follow me on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. And be a good person.